Hello.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello. It's not morning.
It's morning.
It's not morning.
It's not noon yet.
Well,
it's still morning.
It is kind of morning, isn't it?
Starting it
Hello.
off with an argument.
We are. Hello, Alphas. Good almost afternoon.
Holy moly, there's an ad on our video.
There is. We've made it. Do we get paid now for HostGator? There was a HostGator ad. Get out of here, HostGator. We don't like you anymore.
I think it's because we have it watching. Cool. Well, that means that this is monetized. So
I never got an email.
It doesn't matter because if they put an ad on my video, I better be getting some money.
Yeah, no kidding. Hello, everyone. Good morning, Kate. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Lindsay. Good morning, Linda Sue, who is always here. And Lisa, who is always here. Good morning, Natasha. Color Tree Creations. Susan. Mickey Paul, who we are going to be shipping orders to today. Wait, unless we already shipped her order. Today, if you order during the Art by Starla More launch, today is the last shipping day for that. We're finishing up packages. We have shipped about 30 packages a day after that launch. And for those of you who weren't aware, we just launched a jewelry collection. But don't go to my shop looking for it because it all sold out within like 30 seconds. There are only 3 keys left from a massive collection. So that's just kind of how our launches usually go. So we've been very busy. Not only that, but the Handmade Alpha Academy closed last week, yeah, on the 10th. We closed enrollment. It will be closed until December. So thank you for everyone who enrolled. I know that everyone's having a blast in there. But guys, I wanted to quickly let you know that when the stream is over today, after we kind of, do our Q&A with our special guest, what we're going to do is announce the winner of the $370 Alpha Fan Mail prize pack. So if you donated any like handmade gifts to that, or if you entered to win some of those gifts, we are actually going to be announcing the winner. And if for any reason the winner, isn't here during the live stream, we'll also be sending out an email. But we now have, I think, 6 or 7.
Melissa said congrats on the channel monetization. That was a joke. I don't think we're monetized yet. I think they're just throwing ads on there for fun.
I hope not. So
YouTube getting our money.
Probably. So for those of you who haven't had an opportunity to yet send packages, right now we have 7. We're waiting for a total of 10. So once we have 10 packages, we will create our next fan mail unboxing video. All of the information for that is linked down below. You can find our P.O. box. We've been calling it the Poo Box. You can find our Poo Box down below. You can find all of our Poo Box guidelines. You can also find the links to we won't talk too much about our guest star today until we actually get started, but you can find the links to her shop and her social media if you decide to get curious and check those out before the stream starts. But we've got about 5 minutes, guys. Other than that, we had to take a little break last weekend. A few people were like, Starla's launched her academy and now she's not gonna do live streams anymore. That's not true. Was that a good LSP?
No,
Lumpy
that was horrible.
You do a better Lumpy Space Princess than I do.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. So that was not the case. We had a live stream last Friday. It just wasn't here on YouTube. It was in our Art by Starla More group because we had an Etsy launch the same day and time that we normally have Friday live streams. So that's why we weren't here. We were streaming. We just weren't streaming here. So anyway, guys. How is everyone doing? How is everyone's Friday? How is everyone feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good.
You feeling pretty good?
I'm doing pretty well.
This is Natasha's first live stream. Well, for those of you who are new, we spend our first 10 minutes waiting for everyone to get online. I know that it usually takes everyone a while, but right at noon on the dot, we will introduce our guest star and we will begin hanging out and having lots and lots of fun. That's why we kind of got to give everyone a chance to actually get online, on board.
You got some stuff on your glasses right there.
Oh, gross. Yesterday, I was rocking a really cool Lisa Frank shirt. For those of you who aren't aware, those very bright 90s colors are in So if you can incorporate any of those, don't do like Lisa Frank characters, but if you could do any of those bright, bold, 90s, leopard spot, rainbow, just bright, colorful, everything that is super duper trendy right now. And I fell victim to the trend because I went to Hot Topic, saw the Lisa Frank stuff, and I just needed something.
Susan said happy Father's Day. Thank you, and happy Father's Day to any of the other dads out there.
Yeah, Father's Day, I'm going to I'm going to an amusement park with my mommy.
Yeah, she's leaving me on Father's Day. It's cool.
So he can have daddy-daughter day with our daughter. We just got to switch. So they're going to be playing video games and having a very special daddy-daughter day. And here I go coughing again. Oh, man. Let's see. But anyway, guys, we're going to be starting in about 2 minutes. Hello, Terry. Hello, Dee. Hello, Susan. I feel like I had another big announcement.
Can you stop it?
Bubbers. I felt like I had another big announcement to make, but apparently I'm just going to go scare the cat away from the couch. I normally have so much to say. So happy Father's Day, Mark. I hope it's all you want it to be. What could be better than spending the day
eating snacks and playing video games with my kid?
With his
That's
kid.
What it's about.
She's upstairs right now, just laying on the couch for some reason.
Watching Adventure Time.
She's watching Adventure Time. We'll see how long I get to listen live, working my stupid job, and always end up having to log off and work. Well, there was a replay if all else fails. Can you touch in the Etsy fee increase? No. I'm not touching on that until next week. The reason, I know everyone is freaking out about this fee increase. First of all, stop freaking out about it. There's no reason to freak out about this. Everyone thinks that, oh, you have to buy these packages, and you do not have to buy their packages, and nothing that Etsy has said about the packages has any like indication that there is anything SEO related that you're going to have to pay to rank.
No, it's just going to be some additional bonuses that you can pay for, and we're both going to. We announced it to a couple people yesterday, but we're going to be testing it ourselves.
Yeah,
it'll be okay.
Right. Like, just hold it together, guys. We're going to talk about it next week. But right now, I know just as much as you do. But we can't just make up things and say, oh, this is an SEO thing, because ultimately nothing has pointed to SEO. It's all been like, tools. And what I think that the tools are, I think that they're going to try to create in-house tools that are comparable probably to like Marmalade and Etsy Rank, because I think that they're starting to realize that people are paying for those services. And I think that they're going to try to create like some tools that you can.
Well, if they did that, they'd be able to control the market a little bit better, control what people are able to see, and limit those third-party people like Etsy Rank and Marmalade. I'm
not even worried about it, guys. The increase is so minuscule, and everyone's like, well, my products
that's what they're saying. Domestic Platypus said Etsy fee increase is way less than anywhere else, going up to 5%. Both eBay and Amazon are 15+%.
Yeah, guys, it's not that big a deal. And if you have to increase your prices a little bit to accommodate, do it, because all sellers have to. Your competition has to. As for the shipping, we already get discounts on Etsy shipping labels. If you're not happy with how much the USPS charges, I mean, there was a time when our international little itty bitty bubble mailers were $6.55. They are $13.60 now. Like, that's how much they've gone up just since, the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
so
quite a bit.
The mail increases are just, that just happens no matter what. So charge what it costs you to ship a package. I mean, your customers know. So, all right, guys, it is noon on the dot. So we're going to unmute our special guest. Today we have Paula Haas.
I don't know if I can unmute her. I think she has to do that.
Wait, did she mute herself or did we mute her?
No, I muted her, but I don't know if I can.
Right here.
No,
Shall I unmuted?
There you go.
You're not muted anymore. Okay. Okay, so sweetie,
you control the camera.
Okay, I'm gonna control the camera here. Wait, let me get my bearings here. Okay, all right. So this is Paula. Say hello.
Hello, Paula. What's up? Happy Friday. Hey, Starla. Hey, Mark. Thank you for having me.
So we're going to have some fun with Paula today, and she's going to answer some questions that you guys ask. Obviously, you guys want to know all about her and her business. All of her links are going to be down below. But let's go ahead and kind of dive in to the world of Paula and figure out what she's all about and about her business and what she makes and why she has become so insanely successful with her handmade business. So first of all, Paula, what exactly do you make, for those of you who are not familiar with you, and what's your business name, and how, just basically like, how did you get started on Etsy and in the world of handmade?
So what do I make, like, besides Magic and Babies, or?
Well, you could throw in Magic and Babies. I've made Magic and Babies before. Well, a baby. But...
So I make Magic and Babies, but besides that, so I own CLN&DRTY Natural Skincare. We are a higher end, so this is something you really teach Starla, is like valuing your product. We sell high end, completely natural skincare products. And CLN&DRTY has been on Etsy for 2 years. So we celebrated 2 years this past May, but I have actually had 3 previous Etsy shops. So for all of you guys that are like struggling, you're on your first shop, you're still trying to get your bearings, I'm gonna tell you that what happened. So 6 years ago, I had a jewelry shop that I probably made 15 sales to in a year, to only people that I knew, including like probably 5 to my mother. And then I had another jewelry shop that I made 0 sales on. And then I sold, I'm also an artist, so I sold some of my paintings. So everything is a learning experience, guys. So CLN&DRTY was launched 2 years ago, and it's been a wild, wild ride.
And, you know, I think a lot of sellers think that, like, okay, I can only do this one thing, and if I'm not good at it, or no one's buying it, and oh no, I just have to give up because no one likes me and no one likes my products. Which, I mean, most people don't know. I've had 2 businesses. They were all under the name Art by Starla Moore, but I started creating hemp jewelry, and that was a flop. And then I did tattoo art, which sold, but it took so long for me to draw, and then people would want revisions, and it just wasn't worth it before I actually started making the keys. And even that, like, my first vision with those keys is so different than what they are today. So it's like, I keep telling people, you know, just stick with it. It doesn't need to be your first idea. You know, if you're destined to do this, you're going to do it. You're going to find a way. And it seems like you're definitely a better example of this, because all of those products are vastly different from each other.
Right. And you're absolutely right. It's the stick-to-itiveness, and it's also like the shifting and pivoting. Like, you don't have to necessarily even like wipe something out. Like you had jewelry at some point. So you had some knowledge that you built right there, and you could figure out like what worked and what didn't. So then you take that, Kat.
No, that's the phone. Mark, turn on your do not disturb.
Professional. Sorry about that.
But yeah, you learn and you pivot and you make like little shifts over and over again. And just like you and just like everybody watching, I'm not at the end of my story either. I'm sure in a year, when you look at my shop and my business, it's going to look pretty different again.
Right. And I mean, and right now, like the big question I know a lot of people will probably ask you is, because you joined the Handmade Alpha Academy, and people are going to say, well, she's doing so well already. Why would she join that if she's already doing well? And I mean, I kind of wanted to know that too, because you're already doing great. But it's that ability to continue that momentum, you know, and continue that learning experience that I think really is what sets some businesses apart. So
yeah, if you think you know everything, you're wrong. Like there is always an opportunity to learn something. And you are so responsive. I even emailed you and I was like, listen, take a look at when I was considering joining, I said, take a look at my shop, take a look at where we are. Do you think that I'm going to benefit? And you were so like kind and so honest. You're like, listen, girlfriend, like I see you've got like ABC down, but maybe like DEF I could hook you up with and I could help you with. And I'm on module 2 and I have my master's in communications management, and I'm learning stuff that I didn't know before. And I'm reminding myself of stuff that was like tucked away somewhere in the back of my brain. So it's incredibly helpful so far.
Right. And you know, I'm looking at a course on like charisma building and everything else. I think that there are just some people who are just addicted to constantly like learning something new. And even if you've had it explained one way, it's like listening to it explained a different way completely changes the way that it processes in your brain, right? So let's talk about the big question everybody wants to know. You recently won $10,000 for a small business contest, right?
Yeah, it was. So go ahead.
Oh, just tell us about what that was like and if you were terrified. And
so I live in Massachusetts, and we have a regional bank called Rockland Trust. So they serve basically all of New England. They're one of the largest banks in the area, and they had something called the Small Business Big Dreams Contest. And there was 2 stages to it. The first stage was that you had to make a 30-second YouTube video saying how you would use $10,000 to help grow your business. And the second part, sorry?
I said, what'd you say?
It was so 30 seconds is nothing. Like, it was nothing. I literally, so I'll explain like how I said it, what I said. And then the second part was like, I don't know, have you guys comment? I can't see the comments, but comment, and guys, let me know if you guys have ever watched Shark Tank. So it looked exactly like Shark Tank, the second round. But it was not, you weren't pitching for an investment. You were just straight up pitching for the money, like just money in your pocket. So this 30-second video, like one of 2 amazing things that I learned were, I am not a videographer. I do not have like amazing, is that the right word?
Yes.
I don't even know if that's the right word. I am not a video wizard. I do not have the skills. I do not have the equipment. I do not have the editing. But what I do have is a desire to be the best. So like,
that's all you need.
That's all you need. So basically, the way I run my business is I find what my competition is doing, and you preach this too, Starla. I find what my competition is doing, and I do it better.
Right.
Exactly.
You have to one-up them. You have to be the obvious choice.
Right? So like, if someone's doing it better, then you figure out what they're doing. So I searched like YouTube small business contest videos. Like FedEx one had one apparently. I'm like, I need a professional video. How am I going to get one? I don't have a budget for this. Who do I know that does professional videos? Bam, one of the girls from my church does professional videos. So I just contacted her. I said, hey, for $100 worth of product, would you be interested in doing a professional video for me?
Oh, yeah.
And it was so into it, you know?
That's great.
So what I got out of it was this beautifully designed video, and it is online.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I'll try and get it. I'll send you a link so you can share it with everybody. And It was me just explaining. I think I said something along the lines of, I mean, in 30 seconds, you have to introduce your business. You have to say what you would do with the money, and then you have to create a call to action. So that's like 10 seconds each. So I basically just said that I would take the business like out of the daily mundane and like encourage entrepreneurship within my team. So that was my first learning, is that people will do stuff in exchange for product. And if you don't have the skills, find someone who has the skills and negotiate with them.
We've done that too. We've totally traded products for skills.
Absolutely. Like, if you think people look and they're like, well, I don't have the budget for XYZ. You do. You just have to figure out a way to be creative with it.
Right.
And then it came to the voting period. We were up against businesses, and I'm not even kidding, 100 times our size.
That's crazy.
The cap for the small business was a $1 million yearly revenue.
Oh, no.
Small business at a million annual for a small business?
That's
yeah, I guess.
That was my exact reaction.
But maybe that's why they picked you. They're like, okay, let's cheer on the underdog. Like, she's the little guy. She could actually use this. You know, this isn't chump change to her.
Yeah,
you know?
And so I'll get to that as well. That's exactly how I pitched it. So with the video, my business's biggest asset is my community.
Oh, yes.
Like, and I don't call them my customers, because I don't care if you have never purchased once from me in my entire life. You are part of my community. And if you guys click over to my social, if you follow me, I hang out most on Instagram. I hang out on Facebook too, but mostly Instagram. You will see that my like marketing method and my communication method is, there's two things. It's serve, 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 sell. Serve, 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 sell. So
write that down.
Write it down.
Everybody write it down.
The majority of the time, I am serving my customers. I am serving my community. And the reason I do that in marketing, there is like a pretty basic marketing strategy that is know, like, trust. In order for someone to purchase from you, they have to trust you. They can't trust you unless they like you, and they're not going to like you unless they know you. So in order to get to trust and to that purchase, they have to even know you. So,
and that's huge because, you know, Mark just disappeared. If you hear it like rustling, Paula, did you watch our webinar before the Academy launched? Because that's like literally where I told everyone, like, you have to have a presence on social media. Like, I know that it's hard and everyone's like, oh, no, I don't want to show everyone who I am, but they have to know you, and they can't like you unless they know who you are. So you have to have a little bit of that personality. So listen to everything that Paula is saying. Like, she is the perfect example of one of those raving communities. You know, it's hard for me to constantly use myself as an example when it comes to raving communities, because there's always someone out there. There's always an alpha that says, oh, well, that applies to you because you create, you know, very unique jewelry, but I create soap or this or that, and I can't form a raving community around soap. Yeah. Well, yeah, you can.
Yeah, and my raving community, it's about our products because we do create exceptional quality products, but it's about me and my story and kind of like these personal elements that I weave into it. If you follow me, you know I am a domestic violence survivor. I am in recovery. I've been sober for 10 years. These are things, and you know, I'm obviously an entrepreneur. These are things that I weave into every single story so that people can learn to know, like, and trust me. But anyway, going back to like the contest situation, my fans, and because all of these like almost $1 million companies, people had no idea who was the person behind them. Like, it was just like, you know, so-and-so printing company or so-and-so like gym, but who are the people like, none of these videos had a person behind them. None of them had a story behind them. So what got us the votes was the story, my personal story, and my connection with my community, and a lot of marketing.
Right. And the way, I mean, and that's something that I think so many people are afraid of, because they're really, let me scoot over here. They're really worried to throw themselves out there. But what I've found is that the more vulnerable and honest you are, people aren't going to say, I mean, you don't want to use it as like a pity party. No. You don't want to say, oh, you should buy from me because of this and that.
That's going to turn people off so bad. Yeah.
Use it as a source of like inspiration, like, hey, you know, this is what I'm all about, and this is what I've gone through, and I can relate to you, but you know, I know that you have these problems. I'm real. I've had those problems too, or I've lived through similar problems, and you know, you can make it if I can. That's what people want to follow. It's called a visionary company, and you are definitely a visionary company.
Thank you.
So Paula, you won the $10,000. What did you, I mean, I want to know, like, what'd you do with it? What was like your big investment for your business that, you know, that you think that money like helped with the most?
So this is the thing. Well, going back to that Shark Tank round, and this is another little marketing tidbit, know your audience. So know in every single situation who you're speaking to. When I pitched the Shark Tank round, I'm not going to pitch them my emotional appeal. I've already pitched my emotional appeal to my community. I'm pitching, because who am I pitching to? I'm pitching to the CEO of a bank. He's financially minded. So I pitched finances to them. How am I going to spend this money? So I thought about that. I'm like, okay, well, what do they want to hear? They're into investments. What do you do with an investment? You always diversify an investment. You never, like, if you're given $1,000 to invest, you're not going to put it all into one stock, because if that stock fails, you're down $1,000. You put it a little bit here, a little bit in a mutual fund, a little bit in a stock, a little bit under your pillowcase, a little bit, I don't know, whatever. So I just pitched them that I was going to diversify the money. So there's not really a sexy, like awesome, like big ticket thing that we put all of our money into. We did build a small production facility so that we're no longer working in a home kitchen to make our product.
That's awesome.
Bought a mega desk. So, so if any of you guys are Office fans, Dwight, when at one point he like builds a mega desk out of like other people's desks. So we have now built a mega desk because my assistants at one point were working on the floor. So so I got them a desk, and we're putting a lot of money into product development, and then hiring. So hiring my assistants on, getting them in for more hours, and also just marketing and getting the word out, and really like strategic targeted marketing and retargeting our marketing as well. So I just did a retargeting campaign today, and I'm here in the cha-ching, so it's a good day.
That's awesome. And Mickey Paul said mega desk. Yay!
Mega desk!
Natasha said, how do you know how much sharing is too much though? I'm afraid of not being taken seriously.
Interesting. That's a really good question. You don't want to overshare. So like, for instance, and it depends. Oh, that's a good question. I think you kind of have to feel it out. Like there have been hundreds, if not thousands of times that I have put pieces of my story out. And you're not going to sit in front of a camera and just sit there and do a 2-hour monologue on everything that has gone wrong in your life. So you put out little pieces of your story here and there. And what are people reacting to? What are you hearing crickets on? What they're reacting to, you put out more there. It's just like making a product, you know, everything is just based on like what you're getting reactions to and what people are liking. And people are going to say, you know, if they love it, they're going to want to hear more of that. And don't immediately dive into the whole story. Like just put a little bit more out, a little bit more.
And let them piece the story together for themselves.
Right. Yeah. And obviously don't leverage it. Like I always say, because there's always these sellers who they market based on like pity. They're like, oh, you know, all these terrible things have happened to me. And, you know, I have all these medical bills and I have to make a sale today or else everything, you know, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. But when you're marketing that, all you're doing is showing your fans that you need them to solve your problems. And as a business owner, you have to be able to solve the problems of your fans. So even if you're making like a goofy celebration, like it's Taco Tuesday, you have to find something positive to make those sales, because otherwise people are going to have that negative association just with you. So
yeah, I've seen people do that. They're like, you know, rent is due the first of the month. I'm having a sale. You know, nobody cares that your rent is due. Like nobody cares. Like their rent is due too. Why should they give you their rent money? Like you need to appeal to the positive. People love a positive story. They love a positive ending. Like look at all the videos that go viral on Facebook of like these cute, amazing, positive stories. People want to see that. So give it to them.
Right. They want humanity because there's already like enough sad in the world.
And there's nothing wrong with holding a sale because your rent's due, but you don't need to let everybody know that that's what's going on. Like make it a positive thing.
Tell them something else.
Like, hey, it's a random Tuesday sale.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so let's see. I hope I say this right. Is it Haley? Haley's House 13? Let me know if it's Hallie. I think it's Haley's. Haley's House 13. How did you just remarket your products?
What? I don't know what she means, remarket.
I'm not sure either. Haley, why don't you go ahead and rephrase that? And we'll try to get back to, we'll try to answer more questions at the end. I want to make sure that we get through a few questions that I know that everybody like has universally across the grid for Paula. So one major thing that I know a lot of people have questions about, there are so many people who say like, I need an assistant. I've got so much work to do, but I just don't know how to make that happen. Or I'm nervous about it. How did you go about like actually hiring assistance, or, you know, paying assistance or getting assistance, or even finding someone or trusting someone to help you. Because if you're anything like me, I'm such a control freak that I couldn't even like hand off anything to an assistant because I'm just afraid they'll mess it up.
Well, you kind of have one right there.
Yeah, I do. He's no one saw that because I panned to you. He's just like, hello. I don't trust him half the time.
I know. So that is definitely the most challenging part, but it's also the most liberating part. So I have currently 3 assistants and then 1 remote product photographer as well. So,
and that's why your photos are so awesome.
Oh my gosh. Bethany Burgoyne, guys, you guys have to check her out. She does like the best product photography. So my first assistant, who's now my lead assistant, I hired her on exactly a year ago. So I don't want you guys to think that I put something on Craigslist or I put something on like a job site and I said, I need 3 assistants and a product photographer that I can pay a full salary 5 days a week. Like that's not how it worked. Right. My assistant, my lead assistant now, Nim, her name is Neve. Shout out to any Irish people in here. We
have a couple.
Do you?
Yeah, we have quite a few
names. So she was actually my kid's daycare teacher and I loved her. And then she started babysitting my kids. And I just saw how much attention to detail she had when she was babysitting my kids. Like she cleaned up after herself. Like my kids were happy. They had well-matched clothes. It's just little things like that. So she was doing that. And then I had a huge wholesale order that came in. It was actually, I don't know if you guys give it a thumbs up if you guys know Witch Baby soap. So Chelsea, the founder of Witch Baby, and I grew up together. So we were part of one of their subscription boxes. And she needed 1,000 units of one of our products. Yeah. So I was like, I simply cannot do this alone. And I thought, who do I have around? Okay, Nim is babysitting my kids. Nim, can I have you in for another day? Would you be interested in being paid with product? She was so excited to do that. Like, so she helped me out with this huge wholesale order last year and got paid in product for the entire thing. And she was more than thrilled.
That is so awesome.
Yeah. So, and then like I wouldn't have her for 2 weeks. And then the next week, if I had a bunch of orders kind of stacking up, I would say, hey, Nim, can you come in? I can pay you in product for 1 hour. And then for another hour, I can pay you your babysitting fee. And she was happy to do that. And it was just this gradual progression. And I still only have my assistants in probably anywhere between 10 and 20 hours a week. And I do pay them now. But it's not like I have like 3 full-time people, and I'm not guaranteeing them hours either. I'm saying like I have a group text to them and I say, I need you guys, you know, these 3 days out of the week, who can make it? So it's all per diem. And it's, if I don't need them next week, I don't have to pay them. But I cannot explain to you guys how much freedom it has given me in my business to have someone do things that I don't need to do. I don't need to bubble wrap and write thank you notes. I mean, my names, they are all my names. My assistants like Nim can all write these thank you notes. I mean, their personal touch is as valuable as mine. They can bubble wrap my product. They can sticker my product. They can even make my product. And then I can spend more time focusing on higher level stuff like marketing and taking courses so that I can educate myself. Like I would never be able to do Handmade Alpha University if I was in the kitchen making product the entire time. Like I would never be able to focus on that. So having someone help you pays off in spades, and you don't have to like do it 40 hours a week. It can be anybody.
Right. And I mean, for even those of you who have like a teenage kid who's like, hey, mom, can I have some money? Can I have like $10? You can be like, sure, you can have $10 if you go in my office and you help me bubble wrap a few products. Like you don't have to put out, you know, an ad on Craigslist and have sketchy people come to your door, you know, just throw out an offer here and there to, you know, a friend that you already have. Pitch the idea to your kids. Anybody would be, you know, willing to help. Our child is running across the floor and it sounds like elephants up there.
That person did restate their question.
Oh, yeah.
They were talking about your remarketing campaign.
Yes.
Oh,
how did you do the remarketing campaign? And you said you saw results today from your remarketing campaign.
So it's a little higher level. It's Facebook ads. So when I create a Facebook ad, I'll do it towards my target market, which is women who are age 24 to 40. And I'll usually say that they have an interest in something like natural skincare. I'll play around with their interests. And then I will let those likes and those views of that campaign kind of accrue over a week. And then I'll create a new ad campaign with a specific coupon code and kind of like a more in-depth call to action. And then I'll target the people that viewed the video, liked the video, or commented on it. So I don't know if that helps a little bit.
Yeah, and I've actually seen your ads have actually popped, and I don't know if it's just because I follow your page or not, but some of your ads have actually popped up in my feed. Maybe it's just because I've been like engaging with your content quite a bit, over the last few weeks. So obviously you are insanely successful, and you've won your small business competition. You've got your assistants, but did you have to take out any small business loans or anything crazy like that just to kind of get started? Because I know a lot of people really stress out when they start their businesses and they have like this zero, they don't have a lot of wiggle room in the beginning. How did you get started with that and grow to such a large scale company?
That's a great question. So one of the crazy things is we're actually not that large scale of a company. You guys want to see our inventory? That's our inventory right now. And so I'm gonna explain why that's all of our inventory. That's like it's good. It's like maybe 1,000 units, but we have zero business debt, and we are 100% owned by myself. So that means we've never had any investors. Basically, how it worked was, when I made my first product, I invested $100 of my own money and made like, say, 5 products. I sold those 5 products for $500. I'm just using like loose math here. I invested that $500 back into the company. I made $1,000 out of that. I invested $1,000 back into the company. And by investing, I mean even buying supplies. Like, I kept diligent track of every single supply that I purchased, how much I was putting into the company, how much I was putting into this, because I had these 3 previous Etsy shops, and I had the mistake of them being hobby jobs and buying all of this stuff. Like, every time I went to the store, every time I went to a Michael's, or I would just go on Amazon and buy all kinds of stuff for myself and hope that I could make something to sell. So rather than looking at my raw materials as like hobbies, I started looking at it as, words are so hard. I started looking at my raw materials as inventory.
Right.
Like a business. Like, you guys.
That's how you write that off as taxes. Like, however much crap that you've got in your office, that's your stock.
Yeah. So we never went into debt. Like, if I didn't have the money to buy more inventory, I used the inventory that I had to like think of new products to make. So awesome. We just kept on growing like that. We keep really low overhead. So I probably keep about 20 units of each product that I have on hand. And because we have about 83 SKUs in the store right now. And we grow slowly. A lot of people think like that they start a business and they have to have like this fancy office with all these office chairs and like these fancy pictures on the walls and thousands of business cards. I think I was buying like 100 business cards at a time at first because that's all I could afford. Right. I wasn't buying anything that was outside of my means.
Definitely. Get ahead of yourself too quickly.
Right. And we see that all the time too, where people spend all this money on their office and the aesthetics, and they're like, oh, this is my business investment. But until you have the money to
get there,
right, until you have the money to play with the pictures and the nice chair and all of that, that's not a business investment. That's a you investment. You need to be investing that money into moving products and the actual goal, which is ultimately my best suggestion to you guys is to buy books, by trainings, by, you know, anything that's going to further your brain, because that is the one thing that is not going to depreciate in value. It's not going to, you know, break down. You're always going to have it, and it's always going to be there, and you're always going to use it. So
yeah, the way that I think of it, if you have to think about whether or not you can afford it as an upgrade, you can't.
Right.
You can't afford it. If you have to think about it for more than a second, it's not worth buying.
Right.
There's always a way around it. Like, there's always a way to figure it out. You just have to be creative. Like, I don't know, I'm just looking at pens right now. Like, I'm a pen snob. My pens always have to like write really nice, right?
And I agree.
I have to buy like this $50 set of pens. No, I can go to my kitchen and I can get a pen and I can write with that until I can afford the $50 set of pens.
Furniture, you can get on Craigslist and get on the used section, or they even have the free section. People put big like used school desks and school chairs and all kinds of stuff that they literally just don't want anymore. You can just come over to their house, pick it up, and you're done.
Yeah, like for free. That's what we started with. We actually, our first base house, we had what was known as bulk trash night, where on base everyone would throw out their big furniture, because you know, military moves, you move all the time, everyone just throwing out brand new furniture, it's just a mess. So we would drive around on big trash night, and we were allowed to, like, everybody,
it was encouraged,
everybody did it, so the trash
saved the base money,
right? So we would drive around, and it was almost like shopping on the street, and everyone's driving around in their trucks grabbing
we
stuff.
Got sound systems, chairs.
So that's how we furnished our first office in garbage.
Basically.
And that's fine. And I encourage people too. So yeah, invest in your business, but pay yourself too. When I pitched to Rockland Trust, they asked me, they're like, are you cutting yourself a paycheck? I'm like, I have been cutting myself a paycheck since like 3 months into the business. And one of the judges, she looks at me, she goes, good girl. She goes, good girl. Because if you're not paying yourself, why are you running a small business? Why are you living this American dream? You know, you're just digging yourself into a hole. I just knocked down my water.
I've done that live a couple times. So let's you know, I know what everybody's thinking right now. They're like, wow, she's living the dream. It's the greatest thing ever. But like, what is it actually like to be able to run your dream business, for one, help probably thousands of people? I am assuming that you've probably got over 1,000 customers, if not more, and then also get paid the money that you deserve and be able to pay yourself. Like, how does that all feel in terms of, you know, where you started, and maybe you're just like looking ahead into the future? If you went back in time and said, someday, Paula, you're going to be paying yourself this much, and you're going to have assistants, and you're going to have an amazing company, and you're going to stand in front of judges and win $10,000. Like, how does that all make you feel inside?
It makes me feel happy and warm and fuzzy and butterflies. But it doesn't feel any different. Like, it feels good, but it's just like any.
Who you are.
It's who I am, and it's just like any other job. I've had a few like people approach me over the past few weeks since the win and be like, "Well, now that you're famous," I'm like, "I'm not famous." Like I think I'm sure you get it at some points too. Now that you have like this web presence, and people, they're like, "Oh, well, you don't have time to answer me because you're famous." No. Like,
oh yeah, we definitely.
Yeah. And it kind of like makes you feel bad a little bit, doesn't it? Like,
I'm not a mythical being. I'm a normal person.
Yeah, we're still humans behind the screen.
Yeah, it almost like makes, I mean, just that little part of it like makes me feel a little bit isolated and a little bit sad to a certain extent. But it's, I mean, I probably make the same amount of money now that I would be making at like a regular 9-to-5 job. I'm not driving a Tesla or a Maserati or anything absolutely insane. Like we live a good life. I'm able to like pay for my kids' food and send them to school and just kind of like provide for my family. I think like the money is nice, and I think people might overestimate like what me or you might make like running one of the top Etsy businesses. I think like the biggest gift of it is like the flexibility and the ability to like be there for my children when I need that. Part of the story that I don't share too much is that my husband is in law enforcement and he has crazy hours and he has crazy responsibilities. So I'm able to like be there for my family, you know, when they need me. And I mean, so that flexibility, and then just like the little messages from people, like every single day saying like, either you inspired me, like you helped me tell my story, to you helped me clear up my cystic acne, to you helped me like feel better in my skin. All of those little messages that I get, I mean, dozens every single day. I wouldn't trade those for like all the money in the world. Those are the best part.
Right. And you know, that's why everyone thinks that like the money is the end game goal and they're so focused. I mean, I'll admit, starting my business, it was all about money. I think that most people start their business like, I'm going to make some money. But then it's almost like your vision kind of adapts as you get to know the people and you get to realize, wow, I'm really helping people. People are really, really enjoying this. And then the money suddenly becomes a product of the service. And when you just grow to love the people in the service and what you're able to do and the good that you're able to provide, it's like the money is just a nice incentive to you being able to help people. So
And I'm not going to undervalue how important money is. I mean, we all need it. We all, obviously, like you said, like we're all here in business to make money, to pay our rent, pay our mortgage, to buy groceries, to live a comfortable life. But if, I don't know, like if you focus just on that, then it's not going to get you very far. There has to be like a bigger end game picture and a bigger passion, which I think a lot of people in your community do have, which is so important.
Right. And I mean, tying
here too in English. It's not showing up in English for us. Sorry, we have somebody, I think that's Korean, posting.
We'll just pretend that it's not happening. Sorry if you can't understand us. So real quick, and you know, obviously it's hard for everyone to be able to take like everything that we're saying today because there's thousands of businesses out there. Everyone has their own unique situation, and you know, not all of our pep talks help everybody. But if you had just some universal resources, recommendations, books, things that have helped you, what is it that you would recommend most to any alphas out there who might be, you know, in their newbie stages, or they're just not where they want to be in business? Like, what are the resources and recommendations that you have for them to kind of, you know, start building that momentum?
That's a great question. I love what you said about investing in your brain. I mean, you're 100% on point. There is nothing more important than investing in like what's going on here, because no one can take that away from you. And whatever way that you learn best, like whatever way that works best for you. What works best for me, I do awesome with podcasts because I can listen to them when I'm making product. I can listen to them when I'm packaging product, when I'm driving, when I'm cleaning or folding laundry. So it's always like this passive learning that's in my ear. So there's a few podcasts that I like. If you are interested like in personal branding and in social media, you'll want to listen to the Goal Digger podcast by Jenna Kutcher. I do love a lot of the Etsy podcasts. So there's like the Etsy Conversations podcast, which I've actually been on. There's the Marmalade podcast, Etsy Jam, which I've also been on. There is like just the straight up Etsy podcast. And there's a ton of like small business podcasts out there. They don't necessarily have to be like Etsy focused. I've been listening a lot recently to Social Media Marketing World podcast. That one's like a little bit higher level in terms of like true like social media strategies. But just start digging through and that's what works for me, is listening to podcasts. Maybe it's books, maybe it's audiobooks. Just like, guys, never stop learning, like never rest on your laurels.
Right. And you know, a big thing, the cat is ready to jump down from the shelf. We're all like, oh no, you guys aren't seeing what's going on behind the scenes. It's just madness. one thing that a lot of people, they say, oh, I just can't find enough Etsy resources, or I just can't find enough Etsy this or Etsy books or Etsy. Stop looking for Etsy specific things, because you're going to hear a lot of the same junk over and over again. The reason that I think a lot of people follow us is we don't just teach the basic Etsy junk that everybody else, you know, kind of preaches. We're taking psychology books and, you know, what we've learned about the human brain and learning how we can kind of manipulate and adapt that into Etsy. And that's why everyone says, you know, oh, your guys' content is different than everyone else's. It's because the content isn't recycled. And that's not some crazy skill that we have. That is just us reading a book that, you know, most people don't read for marketing and thinking, well, how can I apply this to Etsy? And you can do that with so much. It doesn't need to just be Etsy specific. You got to just kind of think outside the box a little bit with things.
You're absolutely right. And it doesn't have to be like everything's a course. Like, it's awesome to take courses, but just like stay curious. Like, just like look at everything that's around you. Like, what's making you buy? What's making you pay attention to things? Like, stay curious around what's around you.
Right.
And even on platforms like this, like a lot of the college courses that I took online had like a lot of the example videos that they would do for something that they were teaching, whether it was a psychology class or whatever it was. A lot of it was just a YouTube video that some instructor somewhere else had recorded. So, I mean, there's tons of material everywhere if you want free content.
Yeah,
right, exactly. And there's so much free content out there. I mean, there's tons of free resources. So you don't have to have a lot of money.
No.
All right. So obviously, brand image and branding and personal branding are all extremely important to you. You have such a strong social media presence, but what's the number one thing that you see alphas doing wrong in terms of their personal branding and their brand image and their overall just social media presence?
Yeah, I think they're not injecting enough of their personality into it. I think they're focusing too much. Remember how, I don't know if you guys remember earlier, I said serve, 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 sell. They're just selling. They're just selling you a product. And I'm going to tell you, 99.9% of the time, your audience is not interested in buying at that moment. So provide for them something that they are interested in that moment. And then when they're ready to buy, then they know to come to you. So again, interject those stories. And it doesn't have to be, I mean, I shared with you guys some kind of vulnerable pieces of my story, but there's also silly parts. Part of my personal brand image is that I'm goofy and awkward. I'm kind of that silly mom that just kind of doesn't know how to be a mom sometimes. And my kids kind of are a mess. And, I kind of just joke around with them and treat them like tiny little adults that I still have to discipline. Being a mom is part of my brand image. But what kind of mom are you? There's what's your favorite animal? Just keep on posting little memes of your favorite animal, and people will then start, sending you those images, and then you gain a relationship with them. There's focus on that serve, 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 sell. And serving doesn't always have to be here's a free printable, here's a coaching, here's some information. Serving can be here's a funny image, here's a quote that I like, and just start interjecting that into your personality. And of course, let people know what your product is, but then people will know to come to you when they are ready to buy.
Right. And that's one thing that I can't remember who said this quote, but the quote was, everyone pitches, but nobody listens. And, that's the biggest thing that I see with small businesses is it's just product after product after product, but there's nothing in between there that really says anything about who you are, who you're marketing towards, and why someone should trust you as that business, because anybody can take great photographs and anybody can have great branding. But if you don't have that personal touch in there and a face behind the brand, especially with a handmade business, because people are shopping handmade because they want that face and they want to make that connection with another human being. They're valuing the handmade experience as a whole.
And we've seen a lot of people when we talk about that, when we're talking about communication with customers, and how they'll say, well, I think I'm boring, and you're not. If you think you're boring, you're not. And a lot of people think I don't want to come off as weird or awkward. And the thing
That's
is,
us.
Weird or awkward is awesome.
We're awkward and weird. That's perfect, though.
the thing is we're all awkward and weird. And the thing is, when we talk about our target market, like if you're awkward and weird, your target market is just like you. They're just as awkward and just as weird. So don't worry about it.
And they like it. They're like, you're real. You're real to us.
Exactly.
You're like me. Right.
Yeah. And, you know, oh, go ahead.
And I was going to say, and then going into that, one thing that's so critical is you like tell about yourself, but you know who's more important than you? Your audience. So make sure that, like, you are asking them questions. You're learning about them. You're gaining relationships with them. Like, shift your focus from these are my customers to this is my community. Like, get to know them, get to like cultivate that relationship with them, and then they'll eventually buy from you.
Exactly. Treat them like they're your best friends in the whole world. I'll hop in my group and be like, hey, you know, Mark and I are having movie night tonight, but we don't know what to watch. What's your favorite movie on Netflix right now? And then they'll start commenting. And then I can jump in and be like, wow, you know, I've seen that too. That's a great movie. What was your favorite part? Or, oh, I haven't seen that before. You know, what did you like about it? Is it, you know, child appropriate? Is this one that we should wait to watch later? You know, and then you're just kind of tossing back and forth and you're forming that friend-to-friend relationship with people who may have never bought from you before.
That's exactly how I ended up here. Why? Because we're weird?
Oh, yeah, because
I know I'm weird.
Domestic Platypus, that's one of our
she's a meme lord.
Domestic Platypus, can you please tell us if you're a boy or a girl, because we don't know, and
we've been curious about that for a while.
We talk about it like in the car.
You're
like
a meme lord, so I assumed you're a guy, but then again, I've seen a lot of meme lords that are women too. So.
Yeah, we need to know. But we bought a Nicolas Cage bath mat with Nicolas Cage's face on it.
Yeah, it's just stretched across the entire.
I want to see it.
Grab it. So we bought this for a funny YouTube video that we made. And then Domestic Platypus just started watching our videos because, you know, we're weird. So he said he has to shake it off because it's
covered in dust.
Oh my God.
Isn't that amazing?
I put it at the bottom of the stairs, so it's like the first thing you see when you walk down into the basement.
Our child,
right when you open the door.
Our child is terrified. Oh, Domestic Platypus says that I love it that way. So apparently we'll never know.
Are you just?
I love it.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Like his head, it is literally his face, like stretched across an entire.
Yeah, that's.
That's.
So let's go ahead after that. After we probably
you just be you, Domestic Platypus.
Yeah, you just be you. We don't need to know what you are. You just be you. So, guys, go ahead. I know that you probably have tons of questions for Paula.
We did, and I'm not going to scroll up through because we've had a million comments. So if you had a question, go ahead and post it again.
Yes, please post all of your questions in the comments. Paula, how much time do you have? It is 12:48. We have been here for almost an hour.
We have all day.
So you tell us how many questions you would like to answer, or maybe we can just do it like a time cap.
I have to take my kid for a haircut at 3.
Well,
that's a long time.
Is it? Are you in the Eastern time zone?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure that it's not like, you know, 2:48.
No.
All right.
Here, how do you go about paying yourself?
That's a great question. What works for me is, out of all of my profit, 50% goes in my pocket, 50% goes back into the business.
That is awesome. That is perfect.
Easy to manage.
All right.
Easy to manage.
What do we have? Diet. Oh, Diet loves you. She's been like, she's been in the comments like the whole time, like, I love her.
Oh,
so
I'm sorry to see the comments. She's amazing.
She says, family time. How do you manage?
Oh, that's a good question. So my kids are in daycare. That's one of the things I mean, massive props to parents who stay at home, run a business, and take care of their kids full time. I can't do it.
We get it.
I mean, I have a very rambunctious, like 22-month-old and then a 4-year-old. So it's impossible. So they're in daycare full time from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So I run business hours, and that's it. When they come home from school, I spend time with them. I try not to check like my messages and my email too much. I'm trying to get better at that, but yeah.
Guilty. I'm guilty too. That's great. And then My and Me's Soapbox asked, do you use a lab for formulations?
No, I create my own formulations.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that that's a skincare question that my little jewelry brain can't comprehend.
Yeah, people always ask, like, how do you make your formulations? And this is the way I always say it. Like, think of your favorite, like, lasagna recipe. So, like, you could, in order to make your favorite lasagna recipe, you would take like 10 different lasagna recipes, and you're like, I really like the ricotta from this, and I like the sauce that I used in that, and I like it without mushrooms, or I like it with mushrooms, and then you just make your favorite lasagna.
Right. So you just have the base, you know, for lasagna, you need the noodles, and you know that you need this, but you can actually kind of manipulate it around to, you know, make something totally unique. And
you end up with the delicious spinach chicken Alfredo lasagna.
He's hungry.
I'm hungry.
He's always hungry.
Wait, is that
Yes.
Now we're
gonna do it with Alfredo sauce instead of tomato, chicken instead of beef.
He's the cook of the house. I don't cook at all. He's always.
I'm a mastermind in the kitchen.
He's our family cook.
That dinner idea.
You're welcome.
Christine asked, best tip you would have given yourself 1 year into your business. I like that one.
Ooh. 1 year into my business. So it was like a year ago now. Like, my first thought was like, it gets better, but it was pretty good. Like, just keep learning. Just keep learning. Like, keep your mind open, keep your eyes really, really wide, and never stop learning. And know that, like, where you are right now is not the end game. Like, you will grow more. And then if you're already a year in, you can look at your stats from a year ago compared and be like, I grew 50% over last year. That's amazing. Like, I'll grow another 50% this year. So never stop pushing too. Oh, and always ask people. Like, one of the projects that I'm working on now is getting more like of our product in influencers' hands. I was always so afraid to like contact influencers that had like 20,000 followers on Instagram. I'm just contacting them like, can I send you this? And I think like 75% of them are like, sure, no problem. Like, just ask people.
Just wait until you get to Module 8 of the Academy. I have like a whole huge thing about pitching to YouTubers and major bloggers too.
Ooh,
so I've got some tips in there that you haven't gotten to yet. It's super exciting.
Nice.
But yeah, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to pitch. The worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to ignore you. And that's probably going to happen more times than you're going to get accepted, but it's not going to hurt you any. Just try.
Right.
You never know unless you try. So Nancy asked, I love the serve, sell philosophy. She probably wrote it down. But how does relating and showing your personality work when you're not a part of your target audience? Mine are moms, but I'm a grandma.
If you're a grandma, then you're a mom.
Yeah.
Or you've been a mom.
I would hope, right?
Yeah.
Adopted, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
No moms.
We won't get it. We won't go that.
I think, I think that with that, I mean, I'm not always a part of my target audience either, but I think you have to research them, like open up the magazines that they're reading, just do the things that they're doing, and follow them.
If you're a grandmother, take some old family photos that you have printed out, get yourself a scanner, scan them, post them.
Yeah,
I mean, you can do all of that. You can do everything that everybody else is doing.
Quotes about being a mom and like article, like in your Facebook group, like mom articles and stuff, and
post about the grandkids.
Yeah, post about the grandkids.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all ties in together. Lindsay, this is a really good question. And there are so many contrasting opinions about this one. Lindsay wants to know, do you share pictures of you and your kids on social media?
That's a great question. I don't think you do you?
Sometimes. I will share pictures of my daughter in my Art by Starla Moore group to those customers. I make sure that I never post anything very like super duper personal, because you do need to kind of keep alert.
There are weirdos out there.
Yeah,
you gotta be cognizant of that.
So, but like for the Handmade Alphas, because we have so much more like reach. Notice like sometimes I'll throw her like at the end of a video, I'll put her in, but I really try not to do it too much.
It's one of those things where it sounds spooky, but if somebody wanted to hurt you, they're going to find out you have a family either way. So just be cognizant. It's not even just family stuff. Don't ever post anything with like the number of your house on it. If you
license plates.
Yeah, just be cognizant of what you're posting. You can post your family. Maybe don't use any like full names or anything like that. Personally identifiable information.
Right.
Just like the GDPR stuff everybody was freaking out about.
Yeah.
So like about my kids, I'll post like a photo of them here and there, but I don't really post about like problems that they're having, or, you know, like that's their, you know, anything that's going on like from like parenting issues point of view is between me and my family. What I am private about is my husband, because of his job. So you guys probably, you'll see a picture of him here and there, but you probably won't know like where he works. You definitely won't know like what area he works in or anything like that.
And that's how it was for us too.
Yeah, definitely a safety thing.
Yeah, before, I mean, he didn't even post pictures of himself in uniform for that reason.
You're not technically allowed to do that anyway.
Yeah, so we had to keep all of that really hush-hush for very similar reasons.
And that's completely fine. People think like when you interject a part of your personality that you have to tell them everything.
No.
Definitely.
Right. And I mean, there's some parts when I see it like this, unless you have like a business that's like based around that trait, you don't need to bring in politics, religion. I would say family.
Leave anything opinionated out of it.
Right. The things that are most likely to cause a stir, unless you create a product based around that particular thing.
Or unless there's something threatening your type of business. If there's a specific type of oil that say the FDA decides isn't safe, but there isn't any research behind it, you can still gather support to try to, back up your cause or whatnot.
Right.
But try to keep controversy to an absolute minimum as possible.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
So, in short, if you don't want to show pictures of your kids, you don't have to show pictures of them.
Yeah, nobody's forcing you.
Your choice.
All right, Mommy's a hot mess. I always love her name.
I know.
Mommy's a hot mess.
I know you, but like that's my life.
Let's see. How did you prioritize in the beginning? I have 5 boys at home, a part-time job, and my husband is not home all summer.
Props to you. Yeah, that's rough, man.
Maybe like the
name is correct.
Top 3. Like think of your top 3 things that you got to get done. Yeah. Write them down the night before. Do those first. And if you get anything else done,
I'd say 5 boys in the house. Just don't expect any sleep ever.
And your online, your handmade business is probably not going to be a full-time business, and that is 100% all right, because it sounds like you've got 5 other full-time jobs plus a part-time job plus a husband that is gone a lot. So can you employ child labor? It sounds like you have a lot of child labor in the house.
Paula, we got in trouble once for talking about child labor. A bunch of people were like, you guys,
now here's the deal, because of some states, we just talked about this, how some states are cracking down on kids mowing lawns because they don't have tax forms prepared. Fill your kids out a W-9. It's free.
There you go.
If you pay them less than $500, you don't have to.
There we
go.
You can ask your children to help. It's not child labor, but we did.
It's a joke, folks. Calm down.
Calm down, everybody. Calm down. All the unlikes.
Or just fill them out of W-9 and it's totally fine.
She disappeared. She is gone. You've scared Paula away. All right. Dyson Designs Boutique says Paula is one of my favorite shop owners. I'm starting to feel that way. She's awesome. All right. Let's see. Oh man, we'll try to get through not
a lot of them. Most of his comments here.
He's better. He's better at the quick scroll.
Read slow. We actually don't have any right now. I'll just comment.
All right,
Lisa
guys.
Said I have days where I totally kick butt and get 20 things done, and then I have days where I need to do 10 things and do 1.
Same.
Yeah, I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Any last minute questions? Go ahead, type them in. Otherwise, we'll let Paula get on with her Friday.
Mm-hmm. Does she have anything that could fix my ugly face?
His ugly face.
We have men's products.
Oh, do you?
We have a beard oil.
Oh, I would really love that. I'll get on there and get one later.
So last night we bought. Oh, we're so dumb.
Don't bring me into this. That's all you. I don't know anything about beauty products.
We're so dumb. So I went online and
so dumb.
we went and we bought charcoal masks, and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna do charcoal masks together. And of course he's just like, yay, whatever.
Yay, whatever.
And I posted pictures on Instagram of us with our charcoal masks, and we're sitting there with them on, and we're like, these are not drying. Then they were just dripping all over us. And I
know it was like 30 minutes, and I thought it was supposed to be done in 10, and they're still like wet. I'm like, what is going on?
So I go upstairs and I read the directions. For one, they were only supposed to be on for 1 minute.
And we had them on for a half hour.
And for two, they weren't peels. You just put them on and you wiped them off. So
I'm sure people have done worse things. Your face looked like it's still intact. So we have a charcoal scrub that people think is a charcoal mask sometimes, even though it has like very clear directions. And they'll shoot me pictures. They'll be like, am I using this right? I'm like, why is it still on your face? So don't worry. People mess that stuff up all the time.
Yeah, we have to be really careful with him because he has seborrheic dermatitis. So
my face breaks out real bad.
We have to use like
nothing super oil based.
Yeah.
Well, all right, Paula, would you like to join us as we announce the winner of our $370 prize package for the Alphas? Because we're going to be, we're going to announce it right now, like today. Okay. All right. Are we ready? Okay. So let's see.
Should we put any rules on like how long they have to claim it or anything like that?
It's already, I think it's like 2 weeks I have it. And I'm going to send it out by email too. So
cool.
Paul is sitting there like, oh no. All right. So let's go ahead, and Paula is giving us the drum roll, and let me go to the entries page. Everybody get ready. Oh, and while I'm doing this, Dana asked you real quick, how did you decide your initial pricing? Have you raised or dropped any of your pricing? And if so, when? And you can answer that while I'm adding a random winner.
I have increased my prices. So I kind of just looked at my competition at first and matched their prices. But as I started adding more luxury elements, as we started increasing the quality, and we actually have completely free shipping site-wide with no minimums.
That's awesome.
Prices, I know. It's been really successful. I increased the prices a little bit with that, and not one person has complained. So yeah, get your value.
Have you seen more? Because a lot of people say they raise their prices, but then you are seen as that like authority figure. Do you see more sales since you've done that?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. So everyone who's afraid to raise their prices, like they should just do it.
Yeah. Oh, can I give them the coupon code?
Oh yeah, give them the coupon code.
So we have free shipping site-wide always, but you can use the code ALPHA15. I don't have to spell it. It's pretty obvious. ALPHA15 for an extra 15% off everything, and it's good for 1 week, so you got to act fast.
Awesome. Scarcity. She's throwing in the psychology. So I'm going
to use that coupon code later.
I type it into the chat, everyone. The code is Alpha15. Her shop is down below. Her website is down below. Her Instagram is down below. Her Facebook is down below. You guys can explore all of her marketing, study her marketing, her social media presence, because you guys should definitely be modeling after her. She does an amazing job.
And shoot me a message if you follow me on Instagram so that I know you're an alpha, so that I follow you back.
Yeah, it's like just message her and say, I'm an alpha, Paula. Follow me.
Because I like fun.
So are we ready, everybody? Let's go ahead and announce our winner. And this,
out of all the people it could have been, let's let them have a little bit of suspense. Out of all the people it could have been, it was somebody that's like one of our most active alphas that's in a lot of our lives.
Well, she's not an active alpha. She's actually one of my customers, which is creepy because we had like thousands of people enter in one of my customers. And this is a completely random generator. So
yeah, it's totally random. We didn't have any part in picking the winner. So
our winner of the $370 prize package is Trina Patterson. Trina Patterson, everybody! Yay! Woo! Trina! All right, so Trina wins all of the items that we have gotten for our Handmade Alpha fan mail unboxings. And if you guys want to send us items for our fan mail unboxings, right now I think we have 7 packages. We won't be doing another video until we have 10. Our PO box, our poo box is down below. There are some guys.
The ecstasy guy's back.
The ecstasy guy?
Yeah.
Oh. Paula, we have an ecstasy guy that apparently thinks that Etsy is slang for ecstasy.
Yeah, and he showed up on our channel and he just started watching us now. So
we're assuming you're a guy.
Ugh.
He thinks that he thought that Etsy is slang for ecstasy, and he thinks that we're cool drug dealers. So,
No.
Paula,
but he can watch, or she.
So now you're teaching a potential drug dealer how to market soaps, or not soaps, how to skincare. That's what I mean. Damn it.
How to hide crack in soaps.
Okay, so let's not do that. Let's not.
I have to get one adult thing in while we have the.
So actually, regularly when I buy like bulk shea butter and cocoa butter, it's like ripped open on the edge.
Really?
You test it, yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So ecstasy guy,
Not surprised.
not send your stuff that way because it doesn't work.
That's hilarious. They will find it. They will find it.
Good. Drugs are bad.
Drugs are bad.
All right, guys. let's
Back
go.
on topic.
Let's go ahead. We'll go ahead, and everyone's like, "Yay! Congratulations!" in the comments. All right, guys. Let's thank Paula for hanging out today. Paula, if you want to catch up on some of the comments that were left since you weren't able to see them, if you decide to watch the live stream of your own videos, which I totally do. I mean, is that weird to watch your own videos? No. Okay. You can watch all the comments in real time in the replay. Guys, have an awesome Friday. Paula, you don't have to go anywhere. When we hit stop the broadcast, we won't disappear.
More than welcome
So
to stay around.
we can talk for a minute. So thank you everyone for hanging out. Paula, do you have any final words for the alphas? Is there any last?
You guys are amazing. I mean, Starla and Mark, thank you so much for having me and inviting me into your community. And alphas, you guys are all like absolute rock stars. You never fail to amaze me how hard you work and how you never stop learning. And I am just honored to be part of this community. So, and don't ever hesitate to reach out to me with questions. I'm here to like be your friend.
Oh, I promised myself I wouldn't cry. All right, guys.
Always do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs, kid. The drug dealer told us all not to do drugs, so I think that's a good note that
we've made up for it.
We've made up for it. All right, guys. Have an amazing weekend, and we will see you next Friday. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.